Hello and welcome back to the Second Take Podcast. My name is Calvin Williams. I'm here with my co-host Marco Rogers, and today we have a March Madness special. The best 4 days of the year are coming up, the round of 64 and the round of 32, and we will be giving you all of our predictions for both of those rounds. I hope you're as excited as I am because tomorrow kicks off my favorite days of every single year, and hopefully I have no doubt that it's going to be as exciting as it is every year. So Marco, can you get started with a very, very quick recap of what went down in the conference tournaments?
Yep. So pretty entertaining weekend of conference tournaments. First up, Penn State makes a Cinderella story run to the Big Ten championship. Then they face Purdue. Purdue was in control pretty much this whole game until the last 3 minutes, where Penn State made a nice comeback. Had a chance to win it with the three at the end. Couldn't hit it. Purdue wins 67-65. Edey drops 30 and 13. Seth Lundy had a solid game with 19 and 8, but just wasn't enough. They couldn't stop Edey, and Purdue gets it done.
Yep, definitely expected tournament win from Purdue, but definitely a great run from Penn State and a great comeback at the end of that game too. Next up, Memphis upsets Sasserless Houston, as we said. The star guard Marcus Sasser for Houston had a very scary looking injury. I believe he's going to be back for March Madness for all of you picking Houston in your brackets. I believe he will be back, so that is very good news. But without him, they might be in trouble. But I do believe he's going to be back. But definitely a huge win here for Memphis. I have them winning a couple rounds in my bracket, so definitely getting some momentum, proving why they might be a problem here in the postseason. Marco?
Yeah, Kendrick Davis shows why he's a top 10 player in college basketball here. I think he should be a top 10 pick in this upcoming draft, dropping 31 points on one of the best defensive teams in college basketball. Big win for Memphis, lots of momentum heading into the tournament. Next up, Texas destroys Kansas for the third time this year. Very impressed with the way they've played against Kansas this year. Big win for Texas. I'm not sure how much each of these teams were really trying, because Texas was kind of a lock as a 2 seed. Kansas was kind of a lock as a 1 seed, but big win for Texas. They win the best conference in college basketball.
Yeah, Texas definitely proving why they should be, why they should have or could have been a 1 seed, even though we basically knew they were going to be a 2. Definitely going to be a huge problem for teams in the upcoming tournament. Next up, we have Arizona beats Bona and Jalen Clark lists UCLA. Adem Bona and Jalen Clark, 2 UCLA starters, were both out of this game. Definitely hurt UCLA there. I mean, not having 40% of your starting lineup is never great. I believe Adem Bona will be back for the tournament. That is not confirmed, but what we do know is that Jalen Clark is out for the season. Definitely a huge blow to UCLA. And I think with these 2 guys, UCLA would have got it done, but can't make excuses. They just got to move on and get it done in the tournament. Marco, take the next one.
Well, actually, just for this game, this only reassures my trust in UCLA, especially only if they get Bona back, because you're able to compete with one of the best teams in college basketball. Only losing by 2 a game that was very even without 2 of your starters, now getting one of them back. I think UCLA could definitely make a deep run in the tournament. Next game, Duke beats Virginia in the ACC tournament. Probably one of the most boring tournaments, to be honest, and a very, very boring game. Duke wins 59-49. The first half score was 24-17. Duke did show that they can play good defense, but this really makes Virginia look like a bit of a fraud, having that much of a lack of offense. Kyle Filipowski shows why he's one of the best forward/bigs in college basketball. 2010, 3 steals for him. He was just a beast, and Virginia did not really have an answer for him.
Yeah, Duke definitely getting hot at the right time, beating a very defensively good Virginia team. Great win there for Duke. And then finally in the SEC championship, Alabama beats Texas A&M in a pretty dominant performance. Bama just continues to roll. Brendan Miller, obviously such a phenomenal player. They're looking very healthy, very dangerous heading into the rest of the tournament. Marco?
Yeah, very impressive win out of Bama right there. Brendan Miller dropped 23 points. Pretty usual for him. Now we will get into the tournament games. First up, we believe that Bama will win. Pretty obvious against Texas A&M Corpus Christian. Corpus Christian had a very nice win last night against SEMO, SEMO, but they will not get it done here against Bama.
Yeah, I mean, don't really need to talk about this one. Next up in the South region, we have West Virginia versus Maryland. Both of us actually took West Virginia in this game. They just have a very good strength of schedule, and despite they have a good number of losses, they're a solid 3-point shooting team. Defensively, they struggle, but that is in a very tough conference, and they're very good offensively. So, I mean, I just don't think Maryland's going to be able to keep up with the level of offense that West Virginia is going to produce. Marco?
Yeah, definitely going to be a very close game. When this came out, I expected this game to be one of the best of the tournament. I think it will be. Two teams, they each won 5 of their last 10. Just two very good teams. However, Maryland does not play well away from home. They're actually an awful team away from home. And this game being a neutral site, I think West Virginia gets it done. They have the better coach. And I think Big 12 makes them battle tested. So give me West Virginia here in a very, very close game.
Yeah, definitely. Super interesting game there. Next up, we have San Diego State versus Charleston. We're actually split on this one. I have Charleston making the classic 12-5 upset. Marco stuck with San Diego State. Definitely a very good game here. Charleston, phenomenal record, 31-3, I believe. But on the other side, San Diego State, super solid defensively, can shoot the three pretty well, and is just overall a pretty solid team. The reason I have Charleston, I think their offense is going to be able to overpower San Diego State's defense just enough, but I do think it's going to be a very close game. But I got Charleston making the upset. Marco?
Yeah, two teams playing very good basketball right now. San Diego State won 9 of their last 10. College of Charleston has won 10 straight. However, I think that San Diego State has one of the best defenses of the tournament. They play a wicked style of defense, pretty unique. They have so many seniors, super seniors. This team is just too experienced. I can't see them losing the first round. Lots of people taking Charleston. I'm sticking with San Diego State here to just be the better defense, able to stop Charleston from getting too hot from the 3-point line. And I think their offense is good enough to get a win here.
Yep, next up we have number 4 Virginia versus number 3 Furman. We are also split on this one. I got Virginia here. Marco has Furman. I think the reason we're split here is because Marco really does not like the lack of offensive production that Virginia has. And although that's definitely true, Virginia is just one of the best defensive teams in the tournament, and although I don't think it'll take them far, I think it'll take them just far enough to get past Furman. Marco?
Yeah, I did take San Diego State for defense, but San Diego State still has a pretty solid offense. I think Virginia has a complete lack of offense, scoring less than 50 points in their previous game. That really just scared me away from them. I think Furman's a really good team. They do not play great defense, but they shoot the ball very well. They put up 82 points per game. And also, I think this is going to be a very close game. Furman does shoot better from the free throw line as well, so that could play a factor. They turn the ball. They get more points from turnovers. I like Furman in this game. I think it will be very close, possibly a buzzer beater here, but I just do not like Virginia's offense at all, so I'm taking Furman here with the upset.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that game going either way. I chose to go with the higher seed. We'll see what happens. Next up, we have moving on. We are moving on to the Eastern region. Definitely some very interesting games in this one for the first round. For the first one, number 8 Memphis versus number 9 FAU. We both have Memphis in this one. Personally, my justification for this one, Memphis is just such a physical team, and although FAU is shoots the ball absolutely lights out, 37% on the year, some of the best shooting in Division I. They also score almost 80 points a game. I just think Memphis is going to be able to overpower them. I mean, Memphis also scores almost 80 points a game, and they're just such a physical team, very talented. I think Memphis gets it done here. Marco?
Well, first of all, the reason why we didn't go over the rest of the games in the South region is because we're picking the higher seed in every game. I don't think many of those games are going to be that close. Mizzou, Utah State could get close, but we both have Mizzou, I believe. Purdue's going to beat Fairleigh Dickinson. But yeah, Memphis, Kendrick Davis, one of the best players in college basketball. FAU, very solid team. I think winner of this game, Sweet 16/Elite 8 team. I'm just picking Memphis. I think they're more talented. They just beat Houston. They're more battle tested. So give me Memphis here in a very close game where the winner could definitely be a Cinderella story in the tournament.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then next up, we have another game that we are very split on. Number 5, Duke versus number 12, Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts comes into this game with one of the best scorers in the country in Max Asmus. 2 or 3 years ago, he shocked the world and brought 15 seed Oral Roberts to the Sweet 16. Unfortunately, and this year, he has another piece added to the team, a 7'5" forward. That's a great piece to their roster. And this team wins a lot of games. They do not lose in conference play, but I actually have Duke here. They're just absolutely cruising right now, coming off an ACC championship. And I think they're going to be able to hold Max Asmus enough. I think they match up well, and I think their athleticism is going to be able to minimize the production of that 7'5" forward I mentioned. Marco.
Yeah, but the thing is, Duke, their best offensive player and best overall player is Kyle Filipowski. Connor Vanover is going to be guarding Kyle Filipowski, a guy 5 inches taller than Filipowski, has the most blocks per game in all of college basketball with 3 blocks per game. I do not see Filipowski having much success at all on Vanover. Guys like Roach are going to have big games, but he's being guarded by Abe Smith, who is not a bad defender himself. I just feel like Oral Roberts, the 2 best players for Duke, are being guarded by the 2 best players for Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts, pretty much everyone can shoot. They shoot 37% from 3, which is better than Duke. Duke shoots 34% from 3. And although Duke's defense is better than Oral Roberts, I just don't think that there really is a way to stop Max Asmus. He's one of the most dominant players, even against big teams, as we saw a couple years ago. He's even better now. So give me Oral Roberts here in an upset. I do think that winner of this game can go as far as the Elite 8, possibly Final Four if Duke wins. But I'm taking Oral Roberts here with the upset.
Yep. And then next up, we have number 4 Tennessee versus number 13 Louisiana. We both are taking Tennessee in this game, but this is a game that a lot of people are picking Louisiana. I mean, Louisiana, like we said, they have the like we've said with a lot of these upset teams, they have the intangibles to make this upset. 38% from 3. They're all right defensively. They score a lot of points. They have the intangibles, but I just think Tennessee, they're too talented, and even though they're very injured right now, they're going to get the job done. Marco?
Oh, yeah. Tennessee, without a point guard, period, Ziegler is out. However, I think this is going to be a very close game. I think Tennessee is just too big. They're the more physical, athletic team. They're more battle-tested. They have not been playing well as of recent, but they turn the ball over very well, and their defense is just arguably the best in college basketball. So I think they get the job done. A popular upset pick here. Not a bad upset pick either. I just think Tennessee is the bigger, more physical, more athletic team, and they get the job done.
Yeah, definitely a interesting game there. Next up, we have number 6 Kentucky versus a number 11 Providence. We are split decision on this one. I have Providence. Marco has Kentucky. Kentucky, one of those teams, if they get past, just like Duke, if they get past the first round, they could make a very impressive run. But I think Providence is getting it done here. Bryce Hopkins, legacy game right here. I just think he's one of the best players in college basketball. Kentucky's not going to have an answer for him. Providence pulling off the upset.
Well, Bryce Hopkins obviously transferred from Kentucky last year, talked a bit of smack about them after transferring. Clearly did not like Kentucky very much. Definitely going to impact his legacy quite a bit. I think this game is going to be phenomenal, very emotional. Kentucky has a better defense. Providence has a little bit better of an offense. This is a very this is a game where I just really don't know how to pick. I think winner, Sweet 16, maybe Elite 8 run due to Kansas State not being that strong of a 3 seed. I just think Kentucky wins, a little more battle tested in a better conference. And I'm not sure if Providence has a great stop for Oscar Tshiebwe. So give me Kentucky here in a very, very close game.
Yeah, definitely that one looking like a potential buzzer beater on the board there. Next up, number 7 MSU versus number 10 USC. We both have USC getting it done here. And although USC is not didn't have the best Pac-12 season that they've ever had, they still did very solid, got a win over UCLA. They've just got they've got an ability to win, even though they have an ability to win against good teams that not everyone has. And we just, even though they don't shoot the 3 ball as well as Michigan State does, they score about the same amount of points. And I just think that MSU's not that good of a team. I don't think they deserve to be a 7 seed. And I think USC gets it done. Marco.
Yeah, and by the way, Kansas State's going to beat Montana State. That is not going to be an upset right there. Do not mark my words, though, because for all I know, Kansas State might lose. But for this game, I also have USC. They turn the ball over. They get way more points from turnover than MSU, who simply does not turn the ball over, which is an important thing to do in March Madness. And also, I just feel like USC has great matchups for MSU's guards with Peterson and Ellis on Walker and Hoggard. So give me USC here. Going to be a very tight game, but I just think that they will outduel MSU, who's a bit overrated.
Yep, and then the last game in the East region, Marquette, Vermont. We obviously we both think Marquette's going to win this game. Nothing crazy happening over there. Next up, moving into the Midwest region. Starting off, number 1 Houston versus the Northern Kentucky Norse at the 16 seed. Obviously, taking Houston there, even without Sasser, should not be an issue. And then we have our next game in this region, number 8 Iowa, number 9 Auburn. This one's tough for me. Auburn has been they have that SEC schedule that makes it really hard to turn them down. But then you have Iowa, who's just can shoot the ball very well, and they have guys like Chris Murray who can get to the rack at will, kick it out, and that's how they score a lot of points. Iowa scoring 81 points per game in the Big Ten. That's not an easy thing to do at all. And although they're not the best defensively, this is a super, super good game. So I'm going to take Iowa here. I do think Auburn's a super phenomenal team, and I almost think this is an upset if Iowa wins here. I'm taking Iowa. Marco?
Well, these are two teams that do not win away from home, period. This is a neutral site game. I do think Iowa might be a little bit better of a team. It's a neutral site game. However, the game is being played in Birmingham, Alabama. That game is about an hour away from Auburn's campus. I think that will greatly affect this game, pretty much a home game for them. I do think these teams are very even outside of that. Auburn much better defensively, Iowa much better offensively, and also they shoot the 3 way, way better. However, I think that this game being played in Birmingham, Alabama will greatly affect the outcome, and I think Auburn wins in a close one where I really do not know who to pick.
Yeah, just super tough game to pick there. Next up, we have number 5 Miami versus number 12 Drake. Another game we're split on. I have number 5 Miami, Marco taking Drake. My rationale for taking Miami here, I don't know. I just feel like they have some really good players on that team. He's not coming to his mind, but he's one of the best players in the country. Marco, help me out here. And what's his name? They're
Isaiah Wong.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't think of his name. He's one of the best players in college basketball. He's helping them out. They're in scoring almost 80 points a game. They're shooting very well, and not phenomenal defensively, but I do think they're going to do enough to get past Drake. I haven't looked into Miami too much, but I just don't think Drake's going to get done here. Marco?
Yeah, this Miami team with great experience. They made the Elite Eight last year with pretty much the same roster. However, I feel like they just aren't that good this year. Drake just beat Bradley by 30. They were completely unchallenged in their conference. Miami recently just lost a game to Florida State, arguably the worst Power 5 team. That game sort of made me think maybe Miami's not as good as I think they are. They didn't do all that well in the in the ACC tournament, losing to Duke, which is not a bad loss, but still they beat Duke. Maybe I'd have a little bit more confidence in them. Drake, they just have not really been losing recently, so give me Drake, team playing hot. They shoot the three very well. They play defense, holding the opponents to 64 points a game. They score on par with Miami, although they do have weaker competition. Give me Drake here with an upset over Miami.
All right, next up we have number 4 Indiana versus number 13 Kent State. Absolutely no bias here because Indiana beat Michigan multiple times, but we both took Kent State here. I was joking. I don't even think this is a biased pick. Kent State, led by their very experienced guard Sincere Carey. He's averaging 17 and a half a night, 5 assists. This dude just, if you watch him, like 5 assists, okay, that's like pretty average for a good point guard. But if you watch him play, he just completely controls the game for Kent State. They play super well as a team, and defensively they're very good. Good help side, good gap defense. I just think they're going to pose a problem to Indiana. And although they don't have a particular guy that's going to match up too well against Trace Jackson Davis, I just think that they're going to be able to, like I said, that great gap help side defense. They're going to send the doubles. They're going to make it really difficult for him and really make other guys other than Trace Jackson Davis beat them. Marco?
Yeah, I think stop Tracy Jackson Davis. You win this game. Holding to under 40 points. I think Kent State wins this game. Indiana just is not that good. I think Jalen Hood-Schifino is quite a bit overrated. I think Sincere Carey is the better player in that matchup between him and Jalen Hood-Schifino. Kent State defends better. They do not shoot the three quite as well, but they do score the ball better. And their points off turnover is really what puts me over. Indiana, 13 points off turnovers a night. Kent State 18. That is a 5-point difference off turnovers, and that can completely change a game. Give me Kent State here. This is a team with Elite Eight potential. I'm not sure if they'll make it there, but I just don't think Indiana's all that good. They beat Michigan by 1 twice. They needed a comeback. Michigan's not very good. Give me Kent State here. I think this is an underseeded team. Should be a 12 or 11. So, yeah, give me the upset here.
Yep, next up we have Iowa State versus number 11 Pitt. Pitt got the win in the first 4 the other night. We both do not think it's going to happen again, though. Even though Iowa State's been relatively inconsistent all season, I think they get it done here and beat Pitt. Marco?
Pitt, very experienced team, lots of players over the age of 20. However, Iowa State just defends very, very well. Pitt does score the ball quite a bit better than Iowa State, but Iowa State plays in the best conference in college basketball. Pitt plays in what my opinion is the worst Power 5 conference. I think Iowa State's defense is just too much. I don't think Pitt's really going to score the ball very well. However, Iowa State shoots from the free throw line terribly, 65% on the year compared to Pitt's 76%, which does scare me a little. I just don't think this game is really going to be that close. Give me Iowa State here. Low scoring game, but I think they get the job done against the less talented team.
Yep. And then next up, we have number 3 Xavier versus number 14 Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State, they've shown flashes of being a good team. I just don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think they're a very good team. So Xavier will get it done there. And then a real interesting game, number 7 Texas A&M versus number 10 Penn State. We are split on this one as well. I have Penn State, and Marco has Texas A&M. I am taking Penn State simply because of Jalen Pickett. This guy finds ways to get buckets. I don't even know how. We talk about him every week, and he's just phenomenal. Penn State shoots the lights out of the ball, 39% on the year. And I don't know. They're just a very good team with Shafino kicking it out of the post. Even though he's like not that big of a guy, he's playing the post, kicking it out, and getting buckets in the post. So I don't think Texas A&M really has an answer for that. Penn State gets it done here. Marco.
I think Texas A&M is easily the most underseeded team in this tournament. I think they should be as high as a 5 seed, maybe a 4 seed. They made the SEC tournament championship. They're the 2 seed in the SEC. The second best team in the second best conference should not be a 7 seed playing against an elite Penn State team. However, I think Texas A&M, they're underseeded for a reason. Their defense is elite, allowing 66 points a game. Their offense is very good, scoring 74 points a game. Both of those better than Penn State. They both have been playing very well recently, but again, points off turnover puts me over again. Texas A&M, 17 points a game off turnover. Penn State, 10. Give me Texas A&M here in a very, very close game.
Yeah, I agree. That's going to be a super good game. And then our final game in the Midwest region, number 2 Texas, number 15 Colgate. This is probably the most likely 2 versus 15 upset. Colgate shoots 41% from 3. Very fundamental team. Guys that really good guys on the team, shoot very well, score a lot of points. I just think they're gonna give Texas more issues than a lot of people think. But then again, Texas playing super well right now. Just got to win 2 wins over Kansas to end the season. And I think they'll get past Colgate, no problem. Marco?
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think Texas is definitely a Final Four, maybe national championship contender. For the next round, Kansas is going to be Howard. Arkansas versus Illinois, arguably the best game in the first round. Give me Illinois, though. This is going to be such a good game. I cannot wait to watch. Terrence Shannon, I think is just going to play his heart out. So give me Illinois. They're a little more experienced than Arkansas. Arkansas lost a lot of guys from last year. No real stats that show Illinois is significantly better or that Arkansas is significantly better. Two very, very similar teams. I just think it's going to be such a close game. Yeah, I don't really know who to pick here, but give me Illinois.
I agree. I'm taking Illinois. I just don't know enough about Arkansas to trust them. Illinois, I just know they have a lot of size and a lot of teams have trouble with that, so I got Illinois also. And then next up, we have number 5 St. Mary's versus number 12 VCU. Both of us have VCU in this game. Brendan Johns, Michigan transfer, has been playing very well this year, giving them some boards as a role player. And VCU, just on a roll right now, won 9 of their last 10. And although St. Mary's is a pretty solid team, that game versus Gonzaga, who I don't believe is that good, really hindered my view on them. And I just don't think that they're that good of a team. I think VCU gets it done. Marco?
Yeah, last year, however, St. Mary's 5 seed taking on 12 seed Indiana. Lots of people taking Indiana. St. Mary's wins that game by about 50 points. I don't think that'll happen this year. VCU is too good at defense to allow St. Mary's to just shoot the ball like they do. So give me VCU here with a nice upset. UConn's going to beat Iona. That is a pretty popular upset. Iona's a good team, but I think UConn's easily the best 4 seed. So TCU versus Arizona State / Nevada, that game going on right now. Give me TCU, though. Although Eddie Lampkin is out. Actually, by the way, Arizona State's winning by 27 at the half. So that's going to be Arizona State. Definitely makes this game a little closer, but I still think TCU is going to get the job done.
Yeah, and then after, I agree with you. I also think TCU gets it done here. And then after that, we both have Gonzaga beating Grand Canyon. No surprise there. Gonzaga's just simply a better team. And then Northwestern, number 7 Northwestern versus number 10 Boise State. Boise State, solid team. We both took Northwestern here, just simply because Northwestern, they started the season out pretty meh, but they've really grown throughout the season. Like, their first game against Michigan was pretty ugly, but I mean, as I've watched their games later in the season, I've really been impressed with them. I think they get the job done here.
Yeah, these are 2 teams I do not like very much. Northwestern, I just don't think Boo Booey's a guy that you can completely rely on to be your main scorer, and they don't really have anyone else to score. Chase O.D. just not that good at basketball besides defense. Boise State, don't really know too much about them. They play at 11 p.m. every night. I know they shoot the three pretty well. They defend pretty similarly. But give me Northwestern here. Very close game. I just think they're a little bit better at closing out games. So give me Northwestern.
Yep, and then the final game of the first round, UCLA versus UNC Asheville. UNC Asheville is a sleeper team. I don't think they should be a 15 seed at all. Despite the fact that they're the luckiest team in the country, they have a 6'10 forward that shoots the 6'11 forward that shoots the lights out of the ball. Not to mention their point guard is shooting, I believe, like 40% on the year on 98 made threes. He's absolutely phenomenal. That's more than UCLA's best shooter, David Singleton. And although UNC Asheville has all this stuff going for them, and not to mention UCLA's bigs do not guard the perimeter extremely well. So that's going to be a super tough game for UCLA. But we do both have UNC Asheville. UCLA is going to get it done, but definitely not as easy a game as people think. Marco?
Yeah, definitely going to be a pretty close game there. I see UCLA winning by around 10, but give me UCLA. Second round, Bama versus West Virginia. Give me Bama. They're just the better team. Pretty simple.
Yeah, Marco, let's do this a different way. You just read off all your second round games because we have different second rounds, and then I'll read off all mine.
Yeah, so next up, San Diego State versus Furman. Creighton versus Baylor, Mizzou versus Arizona. I have the higher seed winning for all of those, except I have Creighton beating Baylor. I think that's an upset that will happen. I'm not even sure if Baylor will win their first round game against UC Santa Barbara, who's a pretty good team. Creighton's too good at defense, pretty good at offense, so give me Creighton here.
Yep, and then in the South region, I also have Bama winning their first round game against West Virginia. And then in Charleston versus Virginia, I have Virginia getting the job done, advancing to the Sweet 16. And then contrasting you, I have Baylor beating Creighton. And although I think Keontae George does take too many shots, I think if he controls himself a little bit, Adam Flagler takes control, I think they get their much-needed win. And then Mizzou versus Arizona, I just think Azuolas Tubelis is way too good for Missouri. I think Arizona gets it done.
Yeah, definitely going to be a very competitive region. In the East, I have Purdue versus Memphis. Give me Memphis. I think Kendrick Davis is going to be unmatched. I think Memphis has the athletes to slow down Zach Edey. I think that's a pretty common upset to pick. And give me Oral Roberts beating Tennessee, actually. I think winner of Oral Roberts Duke advances to the Sweet 16. I think Oral Roberts matches up very well. They have the size to stop Tennessee down low, and Tennessee does not have a point guard. They're going up against one of the best point guards in the tournament. That's not going to go too well. Kentucky versus Kansas State. I have another 6-3 upset. Give me Kentucky, the more talented team. Kansas State loses too many games that they should win. Not really a reason why they lose those games. They just happen to lose them. So give me Kentucky there, pulling off another 6-3 upset. Number 10 USC versus number 2 Marquette. Give me number 2 Marquette. I think they have a very easy road. They're a decent team. Shaka Smart does not do well in the tournament. However, Marquette's a good team, and USC is not that good.
Yeah, so for the East region, Purdue, Memphis. I also have Memphis getting the job done here. I agree their physicality will match up well against Edey. And without Edey, Purdue really does not have much. And then in the next game, I have Duke versus Tennessee. I got Duke advancing there. Duke's really hot right now. I think they get the job done. And then in Providence, Kansas State, I have Kansas State winning that game. Kansas State, like you said, although they're not the best team, I think Providence gets past Kentucky, but they'll slow down. I just think the emotions run too high for. I think the emotions for Providence are the reason they get past Kentucky, but their streak will end against Kansas State. And then in the final game in this region, USC Marquette. I have Marquette advancing. I just think Marquette's too good for USC. Marco?
Yeah, that's also going to be a very wild region, especially with that week of a 1 seed. Next up, Houston versus Auburn. Houston kills Auburn in the analytics. They're just better at literally everything in basketball. So give me Houston by a lot. Drake versus Kent State. I think Kent State beats winner of Drake Miami, no matter who it is. So give me Drake in this Kent State in the Sweet 16. I think Sincere Carey has a very good game. Um, Next up, Iowa State versus Xavier. Give me Xavier. Iowa State's not really that good. Xavier's not that good either, but they're a higher seed for a reason. They play defense very well. So give me Xavier. Then Texas A&M versus Texas. Going to be a highly competitive game. I think this game could really go either way. Give me Texas. Their backcourt is too good with Tyrese Hunter, Marcus Carr, and Sir Jabari Rice.
Yes, definitely interesting region here. In Houston versus Iowa, I think Iowa matches a lot better. Matches up a lot better with Houston than Auburn does, but I still have Houston getting the job done there. In Miami versus Kent State, I have Kent State also advancing to the Sweet 16. I agree, Sincere Carey is going to have a big game. And then in Iowa State, Xavier, this one is conflicting me. I've been going back and forth all night, but I do think I'm going to take Iowa State here, pulling off an upset over Xavier. And then in the final game in this region, I have Texas beating Penn State pretty soundly. Shouldn't be too bad of a game for Texas. Marco?
Yeah, I think that region probably going to end up being a 1-2 Sweet 16, but definitely some Cinderella stories with Kent State. For the West region, final region, Kansas versus Illinois. Give me Kansas. I think they can stop the size of Illinois pretty easily, and give me Kansas pretty by quite a good amount. UConn versus VCU. I think UConn's one of the most underrated teams of the tournament. I just don't think VCU is really that good. I think UConn can make a Final Four, so give me UConn winning this one. TCU versus Gonzaga, definitely going to be a close game. However, TCU does not have Eddie Lampkin, who is their second scorer and one of their best defenders, so that sort of influences my pick. So give me Gonzaga there, although I do not think they're that good. Give me Gonzaga. Number 7, Northwestern versus number 2, UCLA. Northwestern, not really all that good. Boo Buie, I'm not sure if he's going to do much on Tiger Campbell, so give me UCLA here. Even with some injuries, I still think they're better than almost every team in this region.
Yeah, I actually have the same picks as you for this region. Kansas gets the job done against Illinois. UConn takes care of TCU. UConn takes care of VCU. Gonzaga beats TCU, and then UCLA gets the job done against Northwestern. You got anything else for tonight, Marco?
Nope, going to be a very fun day. Then going to be a couple of great days.
Yeah, we are all very excited over here. Thank you all for listening to the Second Take Podcast. We will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.